Unfortunately, I don't think this is coming out either. Well, maybe barely. This is my Ephebopus murinus, my female skeleton, subadult, is hiding in her skull here. I believe she's in pre-molt, so I don't really want to disturb her too much. But she's out and about fairly often. She a lot of times will stay burrowed down in there, but she closed off that burrow, so I don't know what she's doing here lately, but she's in there enjoying her solitude in the skull. And I guess this one's about 3.5, no, maybe more like 3 inches. No, I'd say 3.5. Yep. But very thankful this one's a female. Very defensive, very fast for a new world. But I really love the skeletal patterns on the legs. Beautiful. Alright, let's move on to a different one. Let's look at my smaller one of the two of these species here. And of course, he's hiding. And this is my male Ephebopus murinus, the skeleton. He's doing just fine. He's burrowed all the way down and has made tunnels on the different corners of the enclosure. But there's a leg. And this guy, he's about, I'd say 2.5 inches. But yeah, so, and a male and a female. But yeah, you could see it's got that all webbed and tube webbed. Tips over its water dish like always. And there's another. And then there he is right here. So sorry we can't see him very well, but I'd totally have to trash the enclosure to get you to see him. But you've seen him before unless you're new to my channel. But he's the one who almost died. And I had to put him in the ICU, and that actually saved him. So sometimes ICUs work and sometimes they don't. It just depends on how, critical they are, obviously, how far along they are in the dying process. But I caught this one early enough to where I was able to save it. Alright, I have one more left. Now this one would come out if I had food running around in there, but this is not a feeding video. This is the enclosure of my Ephebopus cyanognathus, the blue fang. And these are just stunning as all get out. Pinkish legs, green abdomen, and the chelicerae is blue. It's a vibrant blue. As they get older, they turn more of a purplish color, and then the overall spider's kind of a dark brownish color. But really beautiful. I was hoping to kind of tease it out a little bit. In my last feeding video, you'll get a very good view of it. So if you guys want to go back and look at my feeding video and look in the description, I give the names of all the teas, so that way you can kind of get an idea of where to find it. But unfortunately, I don't think this one's going to come out to say hello this time. It's like it knows I don't have food. It's like, it ain't worth it. But you'll see a really good look of this one in the last feeding. But there we go. Deep substrate. It's dried out, so I gotta dampen it. And made a really neat funnel like tube thing down there of webbing. And had another little exit part right there. So unfortunately I can't see it at all. So alright, well that's all of the Ephebopus. Let's move on to another genus. Time to move on to the Euathlus genus. This is my Euathlus parvulus, the Chilean gold. This one is a male, and this one is about 3 inches. I like the greenish gold carapace and the mirror patch on the abdomen. the golden femurs. Gorgeous, gorgeous spider. This one is very skittish, but also a very good eater. So yes, I gotta fill up his water dish. But look at that. You can see the gold kind of bordering the carapace there, and then, you know, on the femurs too. Beautiful male. The Euathlus is definitely one of my favorite genuses out there. I got this guy when he was only about 2 inches, I think. So, maybe a little less than that. He's actually been a pretty slow grower. But he's a male. Alright. Let's look at some more Euathlus, shall we? Here is one of the tiniest tarantulas in my collection. This is the Euathlus species red, the Chilean red. And this one is only about an eighth of an inch. Maybe a fourth. But I tell you what, I've had this one since last summer of 2016, and it has not molted for me yet. That ought to tell you how slow growing this dwarf species is. This is considered one of the most, if not the most, docile species out there. Very handleable tarantula. If you have a defensive Euathlus species red, that would be very rare indeed. But they're overall black with the upper part of the abdomen, like between the carapace and the abdomen, a red color. Very beautiful, very friendly, and they like to explore. And yep, this one's only a little baby. I'm going to give this one a drink by just putting a few water droplets in there, and we'll move on to another one. Check it out. This never gets old. Euathlus species blue, the blue femur. And indeed, it has blue femurs. This is my female. She's about 2.5 inches. Well, no, she's probably about 3 now. But yes, a stunner. Greenish colored carapace and those blue femurs. And those kind of orange, like little stripes on the patellas. Yes. Stunning as all get out. And I see you need more water. Boy, I tell you, I've said it numerous times, that blue will slap you in the face. It is just so stunning. Of course, you have to look at it in the light, though. If you don't have the light on it, it's just going to look, you know, really dark. But this one is very skittish, very runny, has even thrown up a threat posture, I believe. So I don't really mess with this one anymore. Like I used to be able to handle it, but not really anymore. So we're going to give this one a drink, clean out anything that needs to be cleaned out, and move on to the next Euathlus. And here is my Euathlus species green. Suspect female. Never molted for me, but the abdomen is very dark. The colors have faded big time. This one is definitely due for a molt. This one is about, I guess this one's probably full grown, already considered an adult. This one's already about 4.5 inches. So if they grow any more, it would be like maybe the next molt, and then I think that would be it. But when this one is not in pre-molt, it's just as gorgeous as the blue femur, except that this one has green femurs. And yes, they are green if you look at them in the right light. And this one also likes to explore. likes to come out and say hello, and this one is a little more handleable, but can be skittish at times, but never defensive yet. She's trying to climb up there. She's having a little trouble. But the plastic is definitely kind of slippery. But I definitely think she's going to molt pretty soon. But she's doing great. I call her a she, because I think she is. Just don't have the 100% proof. But see, she's got the striping on the patella as well. It's just not as bold as it normally would be since it's in pre-molt. And even the green on the femurs really is not popping like it usually does. And the abdomen is very dark, as you can see. So it's coming, slowly but surely. Yeah, she's sweet. She's just a little runny sometimes. But she's a very inquisitive, very curious spider. Very adventurous. She's on the go a lot. So if you feel like, you need to have larger enclosures for your spiders, the Euathlus, I think, definitely benefits from having larger enclosures. Because they like to move around and explore, just from my observation anyway. None of them seem to be pet rocks. Let's see, the bottom part can still use a little more darkening, but the upper part definitely is dark of that abdomen there. Alright, so that concludes the Euathlus. Have 4. Alright, let's move on to another genus. Alright, on to the Grammostola genus, and I have several of these because they're so easy to acquire. They're pretty much everywhere. This here is my 1.5 inch Grammostola rosea, the red color form of the Chilean rose, and the abdomen is dark and swollen and kind of has that shiny appearance to it. So I do think it's in a very long pre-molt, as they usually are. You definitely need to be patient with these as far as their growth span goes, because they're very slow growing. They like their substrate dry, but because this one is going to be due for a molt, I'm going to, of course, add more water to that and just kind of dampen that area over there. But these resemble the porteri a lot, except, well, these are more red. This one here is very runny, so we'll see how runny it gets as it gets older. But I'm very happy to have the red color form. They're gorgeous as all get out, but of course not much to look at as a little baby. They're just right now cute. So there's my little baby, and hopefully we'll get a molt from this one in the not too distant future. I think I've been saying that for the last few months now. Alright, let's move on to another one. Here is my other Grammostola. This one here is my Grammostola porteri, the normal color form of the Chilean rose. I believe this one is also in pre-molt. It's going through a huge fasting period, and the abdomen looks like it's a bit dark as well, and the colors have faded quite a bit. You can't even see a whole lot of the pink on the carapace. Even that's faded a lot. So hopefully we'll get a molt from this one. This one's unsexed. And this one, let's see, what size would this one be? This one's about 3 inches. And maybe more like 3 inches. But, this one's handleable. Has not thrown up any threat postures for me yet. But you know, with Grammostolas, you never know. One day they like you, and the next day they want to be left alone. And they like it dry, of course. So, doing just fine. Alright, I have another porteri to show you. And for those of you who keep up with my channel, this is, you already know what this one is. This is my other Grammostola porteri, the Chilean rose normal color form. And as you can see, the pink on the carapace is a lot more vibrant with this one than the previous one, if it's even coming out on camera. But yes, this one is about 4.5 inches, female. I got her, she was my very first tarantula. I got her in the summer of 2011. And she's molted for me only twice during the times that I've had her. The first time she molted for me was probably in 2012, and then the last time she molted for me was it 2015? Late 2015, I think. And she once went through a huge fasting period that lasted a whole year. Yep, didn't eat for a year. So that's they're known for that. So don't be surprised if your Grammostola porteri doesn't eat for a while. It's pretty common. But she's my most special because she was my first. And she needs a refill with her water dish. She's doing awesome. Alright, now we got some pulchripes to show you. Let's move on to those. Here is my largest Grammostola pulchripes, the Choco Golden Knee, in my collection. I have a few of these. This is a suspect female, never molted for me. But she's already quite big. She's about 5 inches. But look at those golden knees. Oh wow. They just pop, don't they? But this one has its mood swings, but has allowed me to hold her sometimes. I used to have a cave in here, but she never used it. So I took it out and gave it to another tarantula that would use it. So she just kind of sits in one spot. She doesn't move around a whole bunch. She's definitely a pet rock. But she's very sweet most of the time. But again, she likes it dry. She definitely likes the substrate dry. But that's all there is to that one. So that's my largest one. Now let's go look at my subadult and my juveniles. And here's my subadult Grammostola pulchripes, Choco Golden Knee, and unsexed, but I'm leaning towards it being a male. But we shall see when it molts. But it doesn't look like it's going to be molting anytime soon, so we may have a little wait. In my experience, these guys are very slow growing. But yeah, likes to fill its water bowl with substrate, but just looks like just the top layer really. But beautiful, aren't they? Very beautiful. Now let's take a look at my juveniles. And here's my juvenile Grammostola pulchripes, Choco Golden Knee. Very beautiful, unsexed. So yeah, just a sorry that ended so abruptly. My memory, I ran out of memory on my camera, so I had to have it emptied. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't much left to say about this one anyway. I've handled this one before, and it's been gentle. A little on the skittish side, but mostly laid back. Alright, let's look at my my other one that's about the same size. And here's the very first Grammostola pulchripes Choco Golden Knee that I ever had. I bought this one when this one was a little bitty baby, like maybe 1/4 of an inch, real tiny, and now it's about 3 inches, and maybe closer to 2.5. But this one's a male, I believe. But another one that has about the same personality as the last one you saw. So yeah, very cool species to own, easy to find, easy to care for, and they grow huge. You coming out to say hello, huh? Look at you. Very nice. Alright, time for us to move on to a different genus. Alright, time for the Hapalopus. This is my Hapalopus species Columbia, the pumpkin patch. It's a dwarf species. This is the larger one of the two species. There's a smaller version and this is the larger version. I have another one just like it, and I think one of them is like a molt behind the other one. But they really do get that abdominal pattern early on. It's amazing. And as you can see, lots of webbing. These guys do like to have plenty of substrate to burrow in, and like it a little on the damp side, so I'm going to dampen that side in a little bit. But very skittish, very runny, very fast for a New World. But I got these when they were about 1/8 of an inch, and now these are about an inch, maybe about closer to 1.5 inches. Pretty fast growers, really, but very nice to have. Very beautiful, and you could even barely see the abdominal pattern starting to show up when they were only 1/8 of an inch. So very impressive. That's all of that one. Let's see if I can find the other one.